thanks for coming on. You want the whole world to be happy. And why is that? Because some people would say, well, happiness is just a state of mind. How can you just live and be happy? So give me the background about how all of this started.
I love this, Ann, but I want to say that it isn't that I want the whole world, because already, as soon as you want something, you create a lot of conflict in your life. So, you know, I want the world to be whatever it wants to be. I would just like it more if the world would realize that learning to make better choices in life could create a very empowered state in the individual. So if we could become more aware of the choice to be happy through a number of different ways, that is all I care about. Then people could still be miserable, but you know what? Then they'll choose to be miserable, and they'll be empowered by that.
So the happinessclub.com,
yes.
How did this come about? How did the Happiness Club come
Sure.
about? What happened in your life?
Well, it wasn't my idea. Well, what happened is, to go back a little bit, I was always a searcher since I was 30, and I'm giving you a little profile. I'm 67 now. So
good for you, Lionel.
Thank you. I worked at it. So when I was 30, I started reading a lot, trying to understand life. You know, what are we here for? What's it all about? And I didn't want people giving me the answers. I wanted to figure it out for myself. So I went through that whole search, which a lot of people do, and I'm sure people are doing it now. I never thought it would end up in happiness, and it did, but the quick answer is when I finally became happy, and I knew, when I had made a list, I knew happiness was important. It was at the top of the list. Even then, it wasn't part of my experience, but I knew that was what I wanted, and I knew it was the most important thing in the world, and we could go into that in a little bit. But December 24th, Christmas Eve, 1990, I became happy, and the only difference was, you know, we can all find happiness in some ways. Like some people say, well, gee, weren't you happy at the birth of your first kid, the second kid, the third kid? Yeah, but that was being happy over something. I was happy over nothing.
Well, how did you, because people would say, how did you do that?
Well, it's an experience. I was aware that I was happy. For no reason, actually, but you know, it's the holidays. I don't drink. I didn't drink. I have some vacation time. That was all in favor of being happy, but I wanted it. I was working towards it. I wanted that experience, and then boom, I had it, and I recognized it. See, that's the thing. I recognized it for the moment that I experienced it. I said, you know what? I know what I have now. I feel it. I've got it. And then I thought, well, how long is this going to last? And from that very moment, that very day, I said to myself, okay, I know I have it, I feel it, I got it, I know I'm gonna lose it. What am I gonna lose it to? What's more important? And that was the trick for me, that awareness of what am I losing it to? What could come along and take it from me? Nothing. I never let go of it.
So you found bliss.
You could call it that, but I found power. I found inner power, and why give your happiness, why give your power away? Bliss, power, joy, it's all the same.
Once you found it, you didn't keep the secret to yourself. You started to build on that. And how did you do that?
I gotta add one thing. I think the connection is very important. And you know, I'm working on I have a book finished, and the next to last chapter is connecting. Very important. We're connecting, and we're connecting with others. The most important thing in the world, and personal connections is nothing like that. That's why happiness clubs are so great, because you're really meeting somebody one-on-one. But that evening, I had to get gas, so I went to a gas station, and it was an old-timer, probably younger than me at the time, and he was very courteous to the car in front of me, and then he was coming over to take care of my car, and you know, back then they'd ask, you know, he's cleaning the windows while he's asking if he could
I wish that was back
change
now,
the
yeah.
oil, add oil, do you need oil, do you need, you know, and it was like he's gonna rotate the tires if he could for me. So, but he was such a nice guy, you know? I mean, you know when somebody is just a wonderful human being. And I had the feeling that this man is pumping gas, but he's making a significant contribution to the human race, to me. That's how I felt. And I felt that I just had to acknowledge him and say, you know, you're really a great guy. You're making a very positive difference. I want you to know this is great. So I thought I'd give him a tip. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I drove out of there. I drove back, went inside, gave him a $20 bill for washing, you know, my car window and pumping my gas, which was insanity. But I just wanted to really acknowledge recognize him and acknowledge him and tell him. And you know, he thanked me, and he thanked me for the money, but he spent more time really appreciating the fact that he was being recognized by me.
So graciousness.
Yeah. So, and that cemented happiness in me, because I told you I was happy, blissful, and all that before. When I was walking out that door, I had really cemented it in with my connection to another human being. And I realized what it felt like to do something for someone else.
So in this day and age, where social media, and we're sitting at our computers and we're talking on Twitter and Facebook, we're not doing what it is you think we should be doing, and that is connecting in person.
Yeah.
More and more we're connecting through machines, and I, for one, think that this is a downfall, a big downfall. I mean, it's great that we can reach out to the entire world and connect and all of that, but it's still the face-to-face where we gain the most.
Yes, I went on my internet, you know, it was a week or so ago, and I saw a quick picture. I didn't even read it, but I knew what it meant. It said, "Do you know what this policeman is doing?" And you know, it was the picture, famous picture, just recently, the man's bending down next to the guy with no shoes, no socks, the homeless guy. I mean, that picture is famous around the world. All it is a picture of kindness. And, you know, we can all have that experience. You know, it was wonderful that he did that, but what we don't know is what kind of person he was to begin with. And I would guess that he was a very happy individual to do something like that, because he had the awareness to care about someone else. But then he also benefited from caring about someone else. That's what people don't get. They don't experience that. They don't know what that feels like. They do it for their kids maybe, but they don't do it for people that they don't know.
So you're talking about giving back. If you give back, you get.
Yes.
And are we not practicing that enough?
Well, rather than say it that way, I would rather say it isn't what we do wrong, it's what we're not aware of that we could climb higher with. So again, it's always the choices we're not aware of that we could make ourselves a lot better, smarter, and, you know,
because happiness is power, and you said that.
Yeah, and all it is learning to make the right choices. So there are some steps to that, but it's really rather simple.
Talk about the happiness clubs. The first time I heard this, I thought, what is that, a cult?
Yeah.
What is a happiness club? And now there are more than 100 around the world. What is a happiness club?
Right, Ian, the idea is that people get together once a month, have a meeting, have a speaker. Could be a psychologist, a doctor, it could be an everyday person with a good experience or some way of relating their life and how it could benefit others, you know, their own experiences. The whole concept grew from my teaching happiness at Sacred Heart University in 1999. At the end of the last class in 1999, well, the first series of classes I ever gave there, I did it for a few years, the class said, we didn't bargain, we thought we were coming to learn about happiness, we didn't know we were going to get happy.
Well, see, so that was great. That was a gift.
It was great. It was. And they said, we want to keep meeting. Could we keep meeting outside the school? And I said, I love it. I mean, you know, what teacher wouldn't like that? And that was the reason I taught it, is to sort of, I didn't know how to promote happiness back then. And I thought my step was not to lose what I knew. I thought I'd start teaching it at the university. And then so we did meet. And now, you know, that first club turned into 100. We're still meeting. We're having a holiday reunion and gathering this Thursday at 7 o'clock in the Fairfield Public Library. Everyone's invited, and it wasn't my idea. I'm always listening to other people, and they tell me that they want to meet, and you know, and when I had the club, I thought, because I'm a happy person, I thought the number one thing I had to give people, or the only thing I had to give people, was how to be happy, in essence, or give them some experience of happiness and the things needed to do that. I was wrong. That was only one of the things that they would get. The other big part of it was when you bring people in a room, especially like-minded people or people who want to be happy, you're creating something else, and that something else is the interconnection, the fact that you'll say hello to someone, sit next to someone, maybe get to be friends with them.
People just being people.
Yeah, but you know, it's physical connection. Mm-hmm. And it's also connection for good reasons. You know, in business, we have those connecting meetings, but they're sort of a different feeling than
but you don't let your hair down.
About happiness.
You don't let your guard down.
Yeah, exactly. And also, what are we getting out of it? This is more about giving, because in, you know, the old biblical thought of there's more in giving, and but you do receive in giving.
Now there are classes being taught at Yale and Harvard and around the world about happiness, positive psychology, and many doctors have said, gosh, you can almost overcome anything if you're positive about something.
Well, yeah. Well, I agree. I mean, 10 years ago, I was on PBS with Dr. Bernie Siegel, and that was his philosophy and mine as well. But there's a little more to it than that, I think. And you're right. But, you brought up positive psychology. That was a big quantum leap for happiness. It was started by Dr. Martin Seligman back in 1998, and it really propelled the whole field of happiness forward. And Time magazine had an article with the whole cover, and the whole issue was devoted to the science of happiness. So for the first time, it was being revealed as a science. The funny thing was,
Which people don't think about that. Happiness is science.
Yeah, that was 2004, I believe. The funny thing was, I'd have 50 women come to Happiness Club meetings, right? And I was a little annoyed that, where are the guys? And as soon as it started being known that this is science, guys started showing up, because they probably said to themselves, well, I guess it's okay for me to go to a meeting because it's scientific, so it'll be all right.
So you're talking, if somebody listening to this wants to be happy, and they've
Yes.
got the world coming down around them, in the fall of 2008, the economy crashed,
Yes.
and lots of folks have had it really, really tough. How do you begin, as an authority now on happiness, how do you begin to build a better world for yourself and be happy?
Well, there's many ways to do it. I mean, happiness has got one, way of doing, but there's logic too. And we don't seem to use logic in our life. For example, I found in coaching and working with many people, some severely depressed and all ranges of people, from what you might call quote unquote normal to, everything else in the world. It seems to me that a lot of people don't seem to really get the idea that there's a difference between there are some things in life you could do something about, and there's some things in life you can't do anything about. And they mix that up pretty good right off the bat. Many people are struggling with things they're never going to change, but they're working hard at it.
So the things you can't control, let it go.
Yeah, exactly. But people don't get that. You want to know another one that's in, my book. And it's even, I've lived with it, but there's nuances and subtleties to understanding this, so it becomes crystal clear, like, okay, you're thirsty, drink pure water and you're fine, Accepting what you can't change, for example. Now,
That's really hard.
it is hard, but you know why? You know why it's even harder? Because we confuse accepting something with, oh, we must be approving it. And they're two different things. We're not saying approve it, we're just saying, here's what we're saying. We're saying it happened, accept that it happened. People aren't doing that. They're saying that shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have been a nice day out. That could create more bad weather coming down. We don't accept anything.
Stop with the negativity. Try to get that out of your life.
Well, why don't we just accept when things have already happened? Because there is no choice but there is a moment in now. We don't even live there, but we're still living in. We're still trying to control things in the past that are already non-existent.
You mentioned a prop.
A prop. Oh, okay.
So
Okay. The reason it's so hard for people to understand this is, let me give you a prop. I'm going to go into my wallet and I'm going to take out some money. Okay.
and you're just going to wad it up.
I'm going to wad it up, throw it there. Now it's you know what that is.
It's money.
It's money, but it's got value and it's a currency, right? You could take that, you could spend it, you could buy things, right? It's physical, so everyone knows what we're talking about, and people watching you say, "Oh yeah, that's money. That's the solution to a lot of my problems." But what we don't realize is this is in every way a representative of happiness too, because money is a currency, and so is happiness. We can build it, we could store it, we could save it, we can give it away, and then we end up getting more of it. And the other thing is, it may not be physical, but it has attributes like something physical, because science says you could live 9 years longer.
But I thought money can't buy you happiness.
It probably can't.
But it's a currency, and how does it make you happy? Because you can
Well,
give
no,
it
no,
away?
I'm not saying that money can make you happy. I'm saying happiness is in every way a currency like money. If people could understand the similarity, in other words, if they would stop.
So it's something tangible.
Okay,
It
here's
can
the
be
yes.
tangible.
Here's the thing. If you found that outside in the gutter, and it was oil slicked and everything else, and a pigeon pooped on it, you'd still find a way to throw it in a bag and take it with you, even though it's dirty, wrinkled, and thrown away or lost, because there's value there. The whole point of what I'm really saying is people do not know the value of happiness, and they walk right past it, always.
Is that
it's
because
there
we're
around
moving
them.
too fast? We're moving so fast these days.
It's true, but we're also looking, the funny thing is, the reason we're moving so fast is we're really looking for happiness. That's number one on our list. And it's very easy to understand that we do value. Well, let's do this. Let's show people. Let me ask you a question. You're the
Sure.
interviewer, but I'm going to ask you a question, not to try to take the
Take it,
power
Lionel.
away. Right now, what's important to you? Without going too deep, right now, what's
Family
important?
and friends.
Family and friends. Perfect. Okay, let's go with family. Why is family important to you?
Because of the deep love for them.
Mhm. And how does that make you feel to have that?
Wonderful.
And what other words come to mind when you really
It's my
dig?
life.
And how does that make you feel? I want to know feelings. How does it make you feel? What feeling are we talking
You
about?
know, you can't do enough for your family. You want
And how
them
does it make you
safe.
feel when you feel this connection and everything?
Full.
else? And what is full? Is there a word for it? Is
I
it
guess,
bring you something?
Yeah, I guess it would be happy.
It would be happy.
Because when I think about my family, you don't think about other things that are
Okay.
clogging your brain with
What about friends? What do they do for you?
they fill me up as well.
And what does that make you feel like?
Happy.
Okay. So, I hope I wasn't hurting your arm too
No,
much when I
no.
was getting to happy. But, when I've done this in a million times. And at Sacred Heart, in the very beginning, I used to have a very large blackboard, and all the students used to give me 2, 3, and we'd write them all out, and they got to happy on every. Now, sometimes they got to joy or peace, which is fine.
It's in the region.
Sure, yeah, peace is good. Peace
Yeah.
is good. But here's the thing. If what you want and what's most important to you can be boiled down to happiness, doesn't that give you a clue that that's really what you want? It's really, really what you want. Now, I realized that because I had done my homework at one point, finding happiness at the top of the chart for me, as I went trying to understand myself and what one thing was more important than anything. And, there was a lot of things on that list: my family, God, fame, fortune, money, we have to all survive. But how did happiness get up there? One night, I used to commute on the train. That's a 4-hour commute to New York, with all the extras added in. And I said, okay, I got family and I got happiness, and I'm trying to measure one against the other. And I said, hey, my family is much more important than my happiness. I'm not selfish. And then I thought, well, when I get home tonight, if I'm not in the best mood and I'm not giving them the best when I walk in, yes, I love them, but am I showing it to them? Am I caring? And then I thought, happiness is pretty good. If I put happiness on top of my family, then I really have something to give them. And I'm starting to realize that my happiness can do a lot, not only for me, but for my family too. So it went above family. Then it ended up climbing to the top of the list of everything. And that's how I found the importance of happiness. And later, when I discovered it, had the experience of it, I realized, Aristotle had said that. He said that everything in life is a means to an end except for one thing, and that's happiness, which is an end in itself. And that's really what we just discovered. So the reason it's important to understand that what we want for only one thing, for the sake of being happy, then we can value happiness, and then we can actually achieve it once we value it, because then we know what we're looking for, and when we come across it, we don't just kick it away.
As we wrap up, what are some simple solutions for folks to look at in their lives to start getting on the road? Well, first of all, they can look up happinessclub.com, and they can
Yes.
go to one of these clubs around the state of Connecticut or wherever else that they might find them. What are some steps to start to reevaluate what's going on in your life?
That's a good word, reevaluate. To me, I get a picture of somebody sitting back, taking a breather, and if you're going to reevaluate, you should take a couple of deep breaths maybe take out a paper and pencil and start writing some thoughts down. That might be a good way to reevaluate. I don't know. It's a very, generalized question, and we're talking about a lot of different people. But anybody can get a hold of themselves. The real trick and the real benefit to happiness is having inner control. I would say that for me, and as a businessman I learned this, I really couldn't believe it, but I gave up more and more and more control over things and people, and my life got more and more in control.
Interesting.
Yeah, and life just worked out well. And there was no struggle
Does that
anymore.
come with age, though, do you think?
I think it certainly does, but wisdom doesn't hurt at all. And I've seen young people working like that. So that's something that can happen. There's many little tricks. I think that's one good one, is that awareness. Meditation is also a good way to do it, because you're not letting, you're sort of focusing more. You're getting all that nonsense and negativity, at least parked somewhere for a moment, so you can.
So don't worry, be happy works.
Yeah, I'll give you the formula. People need to make a decision to be happy, and there is a decision sheet on my website. People fill it out. They put it on their refrigerator. I mean, a woman called me right before Thanksgiving, who 10 years ago her daughter was murdered in her home, and she said that decision is everything for her, because it really affects her, it affects her family. They've decided to be happy with the rest of her life. And the wonderful thing about that is they had 2 daughters. So they didn't live their life by neglecting the other daughter, or saying, oh gee, we can't go on because something that we love so much is gone. Happiness shows you what you do have, rather than focusing on what you don't have. We all don't have lots of things. We've all lost things. We have lots to deal with. But if there's one word, it's appreciation, it's gratitude. Gratitude is 95% of happiness. If we can take stock and be grateful for every moment, then life becomes extremely great. And it's simple to be in control. Right now, I'm totally grateful. I live in gratitude. It's in the moment, it's real. But then you suck the full flavor out of life. You're living in the moment. You're taking it all in, and it's coming to you. And not only am I enjoying life, but when I'm enjoying life, other people around me seem to enjoy it that much more, because it's infectious, and they get some of it too. Probably the best advice I can give is that people try to volunteer or do things for others. That's a great way to be happy. Do something for someone else. I've been doing happiness work for free for years, and it's the greatest thing I've ever done. A lot of people may not understand that, but there's an advantage.
Well, thank you for coming on, Lionel, and making a whole bunch of people who are going to see this happy.
Well, thanks, Ann.
Appreciate it.
You're the best. Thank you very much.
Thanks.